Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 1, Episode 3. Now this episode, Cynthia, you have lost your entire mind because the way you showed your behind, the way you are acting out and carrying on about people not wanting to play your stupid game in episode 2, I said, you have got to grow up. And the fact that I'm siding with Kyle is still blowing my mind. But y'all, let me not jump ahead. Let's get right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. We start off this episode with all the ladies waking up and they're all discussing how they felt about last night. Kyle says, I think that Cynthia is still mad at me from last night. Melissa says, look, I was uncomfortable by the questions as well, so you were not alone about it. So now we flip over to Cynthia and Luann. They're talking in Cynthia's room, and Cynthia is going on and on and on about how disappointed she is in how the night went. Again, Cynthia, the game was stupid. So now Cynthia's going on about how she did so much for Kenya and how she got Kenya the best room in the house because of everything that Kenya's going through. And it's like, but Cynthia, nobody asked you to do that. And it's evident that the only reason why you did that was to secure Kenya's loyalty to you. Don't make it out to be that you're just such a selfless and such a giving and sweet friend because you're not. Then Cynthia expresses her disappointment at Kenya twirling into her dinner 45 minutes late with a plate of mac and cheese. Now I understand that because lateness is a pet peeve of mine too, and I would have pulled Kenya to the side about that, like, hey girl, don't do that again, especially when I'm punctual to your events. Luann's listening to Cynthia whine, and then she says that Cynthia is a great girlfriend, but maybe she has too high of expectations for Kenya. Like maybe Kenya just can't deliver on certain things. So everybody's talking and eating, and that breakfast looked absolutely divine, okay? But let me not get started on the food. So now Kyle says to Cynthia, Cynthia, I just wanted to say about last night, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. I hope you can forgive me. And I wanted to stop by your room earlier to talk, but I didn't know if I should do that. So Cynthia is super nasty. She's like, Kyle, you've apologized several times already. It is what it is. You said what you said. I changed the game for you several times. I feel like it's a respect issue. I'm like, Cynthia, how did you change the game up? You didn't. You still ask the same stupid questions. Like, what are you saying? It's evident that you don't accept her apology because for you to be nasty about it, like, say what you want, but Kyle really was trying to give a sincere apology. She really wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. She just had concerns. She didn't want anybody to be offended about some stupid game, and that's all she said. She wasn't trying to make Cynthia feel bad. All Cynthia had to do was say, you know what, guys, I understand where you're coming from. We can play something else if you want to. But Cynthia wants to act like a baby about a damn game. Kyle, I'm tired of seeing you beg and grovel for Cynthia's forgiveness. If she doesn't accept your apology, let the chips fall where they may and give her your ass to kiss. It's enough already. Cynthia's getting off on you repeatedly apologizing to her and begging. Stop it. So Kyle goes on to ask Cynthia if Cynthia and Kenya are good. Cynthia tells Kyle, girl, don't worry about me and Kenya. I'll talk to her privately. Like, that's my friend. Don't you stick your nose in it. I was like, Kyle, you should have just kept quiet and ate your food. You already know that Cynthia is in a bad mood. She's pissed off at you. Don't add insult to injury asking about her and Kenya, okay? So now Kenya joins them for breakfast. She's done with court and she is in a shitty mood. She's like, court is on YouTube, so anybody can watch, and all my business is out on the streets. They know intimate details about my daughter, how much money I make, and it's just really upsetting. Everybody's consoling Kenya except for Cynthia. Cynthia says in her confessional that Kenya didn't care about her feelings, so she doesn't care about Kenya's feelings. I said, do you hear yourself? Your friend is upset because she is going through a nasty divorce by an evil man who is holding things up and making her life a living hell. The whole world knows all of her damn business, and you're sitting up here holding a grudge over her not having your back about some stupid ass game. Me and Cynthia would never talk again, I could tell you that. So Cynthia is just eating her breakfast, sitting there in silence while Kenya is just really emotional. Kyle goes on to ask Kenya, how long were her and her husband married? Kenya says, well, we've been married for 4 years. So Teresa's like, are you dating now? And Kenya says no. And then she says that she hasn't dated or had sex with anybody in that time. So now Luann changes gears with the conversation, and she's like, wait up. Who is that stripper that you had at your party, Cynthia? And Cynthia says, oh, my bachelorette party? His name was Bolo. So Luann's like, one of my girlfriends sent me this video of Bolo sticking his penis into a cantaloupe, and he is going at it so hard that the cantaloupe explodes. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, Ramona's blushing because we know how Ramona is. She doesn't like talking about sex in public. So let me just say this quickly. One of y'all sent me that video in my DMs when it first came out a few months ago. I was just watching for research purposes, okay? That's it. So the activity for the afternoon is they're gonna play volleyball, and John, who is Ramona's friend from the conch shack, is gonna be joining them. So while they're getting ready, Melissa, Kyle, and Kenya talk. Kenya says, I think that Cynthia is mad at me. And then Kyle co-signs and says, yeah, she's still mad at me too because she was really frosty to me at breakfast today. So Melissa says, yeah, Cynthia's upset with you, Kenya, because you arrived to dinner late. Kenya blames her lateness on her glam being late, and then Kenya brings up that Cynthia feels a way that her and Melissa are getting close. So Melissa's like, really? Are you serious? Like, what are we, in high school? We can't get close to each other because you two are friends? Then she adds that Cynthia and Teresa are getting close and nobody cares. And like I said in the episode 2 recap, Cynthia is jealous of Kenya getting a favorable response from all the ladies. I think that Cynthia thought it was going to be just like it is on Atlanta, where Kenya is fighting damn near everybody on the cast. But since Kenya's being received well, Cynthia can't take it. Cynthia's true colors are really coming out, and it's not a good look. She looks vindictive, petty, and just overall nasty. And like I said, I've always been indifferent towards Cynthia. I could always take her or leave her. I never thought she added a whole lot to Atlanta anyway. She was always just there, in my opinion. But I digress. So we see the ladies head down to the beach to play some volleyball, and Ramona's special friend John comes to help them out. Ramona's sitting there trying to be all sexy and play the damsel in distress. And it was like, Ramona, it is so obvious what you're doing. So they start playing, and Ramona can't play worth a damn. I was like, now girl, usually tennis players are good at volleyball. Ask me how I know, because I played volleyball in my younger days, and I also played tennis fairly well. So I feel like the two sports go hand in hand. If you could play one, then you could play the other. So I was really shocked to see that Ramona is just so bad at volleyball. I was like, damn. I really think that Ramona was playing it up because John was there. She just wanted to act so cutesy in front of him. That's all that was. So they finished playing volleyball, and now they're having a margarita break. And those margaritas look so good. If you know me, then you know that margaritas are some of my favorite drinks. Like, I love tequila. Outside of champagne, tequila is my second favorite, okay? I know, I could be a wild girl when I want to be. let me just be quiet because I'm sitting up here telling you too much of my damn business, okay? So, while they're having margaritas, Kyle is letting them all know that she's hosting the dinner for tonight and she's bringing in an astrologer. So Cynthia says, well, that's great to know because I have a lot of tension. So they're all looking at Cynthia like, okay, child, like, we already know that she's still upset. So now Cynthia says, Kenya, can I talk to you for a minute? Kenya's like, sure. But she already knows that Cynthia is about to chew her out about last night. So they go down on the beach and they start talking. Cynthia says, I'm still annoyed about last night. I'm annoyed at how you waltzed in late with a plate of mac and cheese in your hand and you didn't even apologize. Then she adds that from then on, Kenya should have been more supportive. Kenya says, look, Cynthia, these ladies are not in our inner circle. They don't know how we throw shade. Like, that game would have been cool in Atlanta. But here, if somebody says that they're uncomfortable, you just have to be willing to adapt. So Cynthia goes on to say, look, I'm irritated with you because it's a respect issue. And if Ramona had arrived late, you would have said something. So Kenya says, well, Ramona has shown a pattern of behavior. So now Cynthia snaps and says, look, Ramona isn't my friend, you are. Cynthia's going on and on about how Kenya needs to have her back, how they're friends, and how they came in here together. So Kenya's getting upset and she says, Cynthia, I'm trying to explain to you my point of view, but it seems like you just want to have a fight. So of course, Cynthia's not receiving what Kenya's saying, and she's going on about how the energy was off and how Kenya was making faces during the night, and how Kenya can't tell her how to feel, and that's that. So we see Kenya say in her confessional that on the RHOA cast, it's usually her being the one who's pushed out of the group, but here, all the ladies love her, and she thinks that Cynthia can't handle that, and that's exactly what I think too. I think that it's really bothering Cynthia that Kenya is not the odd woman out, and that she is low-key because of her nasty attitude. And I'm gonna keep saying it, Kenya is extremely enjoyable on this series. Like, I am liking her a lot. And now I'm excited to see how she is on this next season of Atlanta. And you guys feel the same way too, because you guys keep saying, oh my gosh, I wasn't a fan of her before, but now I'm just loving Kenya. So we are all on the same page. Like, Kenya is really killing it on this series. Like, she is definitely a fan favorite. So Cynthia and Kenya walk back up to join the rest of the ladies, and pretty much nothing got resolved. They're still upset with each other for the most part. Cynthia feels like Kenya didn't receive what she was saying at all. I was just so over it. I'm like, I'm really happy that Cynthia will not be returning to Atlanta, because she is really showing her ass on here. But I digress. So now all the ladies are back at the house and they're having some lunch. They bring up Ramona and John yet again. Kenya makes a joke that maybe John likes a little bit of chocolate. And did you see Ramona's face when Kenya said that? And when Ramona got super nasty and said, Kenya can't even keep a man, and I've been married for 25 years. Like, what is she talking about? I said, Ramona, you are so hateful and evil. That was such a nasty thing to say, all because Kenya was joking that John might like black women. There's a good chance that he does like black women, sis. Are you upset about that? Girl, stop. And Mario probably likes black women too. Child. Oh, Ramona is just so hateful. I was like, why are you going to bring up her not being able to keep a man? And sis, you couldn't keep Mario because he left you after 20-something years of marriage. He was like, shout out to everybody, I have fun. So what are you saying? You're not married anymore? If there's a reunion for this show, I hope that Kenya tears Ramona up for that comment. So everybody's super excited about Kyle's dinner and Kyle having an astrologer come. And so they all start telling each other what their signs are. So Teresa and I think a few other women say that they're Tauruses. And then Ramona starts asking Melissa and Teresa questions. She's like, true or untrue? Teresa had no idea that you were coming on the show. Melissa says that's untrue. She knew. I said, Ramona, you know that you are dead wrong to ask Melissa a question like this when you know the history between her and her sister-in-law. I mean, Teresa and Melissa just got cool like a few years ago. Everybody knows that it's been a very rocky road between Teresa, her sister-in-law, and her brother. They were at each other's throats for seasons. So of course Teresa's all riled up. She's like, no, I didn't. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything until Andy Cohen emailed me to let me know that you were coming on the show. And child, we know that Teresa feels very territorial about Jersey because she is the only original cast member from season 1 to still be on the show. And let's just be real, Teresa is the star of Jersey. It just is what it is. So I feel like she thinks that that is her show. And she wants that respect when people come on the show, okay? Like she wants folks to kiss the ring. Now Teresa really gets shady and she's like, yeah, Andy was telling me that your sister-in-law keeps emailing me like all the time. Then she says, when my friends get inbox about joining the show, they always have the respect and the courtesy to tell me. You didn't do that. Melissa says, but we weren't speaking at the time. That's why I didn't say anything. So now Teresa says, look, it is what it is. Me and Melissa are never going to agree on the truth of what really happened. Now, let me also say this. I always got the impression that Melissa and Joe were jealous of Teresa and Joe Guidice being on the show. I think that they were desperate to get on, and when Danielle Staub gave Melissa an opportunity to get on the show, they jumped at the chance. I think that Teresa always secretly enjoyed being the only one in their family to have fame and notoriety. And then it's like, well, damn, I'm not that special anymore if my brother and sister-in-law join the show. So I think that Teresa just wanted to be the only one on the show, in my opinion. And I think that it really is a sore spot that, yeah, while her brother and her have repaired the relationship and while she's friendly and she's pretty cool with Melissa, there still is that annoyance that they joined the show in the first place because she wanted that to be her thing. And Teresa proved my theory by saying that Joe and Melissa were mad at her for not putting them on the show when she first started. So Melissa's like, of course they wanted me because it's a family show. So now Melissa brings up the christening episode in season 3, and we remember that that is one of the craziest episodes in Housewife history. I mean, the way they tore that baby's christening up, like that was really sad. I was like, y'all should feel ashamed of yourselves. But anyhow, Melissa goes on to say that Teresa threatened to not sign her contract and to not return on season 3 because her sister-in-law and brother were joining. So now Teresa is obviously annoyed that Melissa is bringing up old stuff. So she's like, look, you don't go against the family. So they're going back and forth, yelling at each other. Everybody at the table is like, obviously, there's still a lot of hurt and pain there and old wounds. Cynthia says in her confessional that other than them being family to tie them together, it's clear that they don't like each other very much. Like I said, I feel like Melissa really does want to be friends with Teresa, but Teresa just tolerates Melissa. She's only doing this because her brother is married to Melissa and she wants to be in good with her brother. So she's like, you know what? Let me just tolerate my brother's wife and slap a smile on, but I really can't stand her. Just a mess. So now Teresa and Melissa stop their arguing and all the ladies get on the massage beds. And honey, they are getting the most amazing spa treatments. I was like, I know that's right. I was screaming because Cynthia was getting her feet massaged. She was sitting there having a full-blown orgasm. And everybody was like, is that Cynthia? Like, what's going on over there? Is she getting a happy ending or something? And Kyle was like, you know, I'll have what she's having. Cynthia was doing the most. So they all finished with their massages, and now they're getting ready for Kyle's dinner. Melissa pulls Teresa to the side and is like, Teresa, are we good? I just want to make sure that we're fine because you are the last person that I want to fight with. Teresa says, girl, we are so good. Like, I'm not even thinking about what we talked about a few hours ago. Like, it is good. You're good in my book. Like, we're fine. Listen, whether or not they can come to an agreement about what really happened about Melissa and Joe getting on the show, they're all on the show now. It's been over a decade. It is what it is. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Still argue about how it went down? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are all collecting a big bag from Bravo. Can you really be upset when everybody's making high 6 figures and Teresa's making 7 figures? No. So, y'all need to stop fighting about the past and just move on. Just my opinion. So we move on to the next scene, and all the ladies arrive at another villa for Kyle's dinner. This villa is gorgeous. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm in heaven just watching it, okay? So they all sit down for dinner, and the astrologer comes. I was screaming because Melissa was trying to pay the astrologer a compliment, and she was like, oh my gosh, you know who you look like? You look just like Cruella de Vil. So they're all like, Melissa, what? Kenya's like, girl, that is not a compliment. Melissa says, no, it is because she was so fabulous. And even the astrologer was like, bitch, if you don't shut up. Don't say that anybody looks like Cruella de Vil, okay? I said, Melissa, girl, some things you should keep up here. Don't say it out loud, all right? So the astrologer starts reading everybody, and she starts off with Kyle and says that in a past life, Kyle was a man. Kyle says that that's not the first time that she's heard that, and then everybody's looking like, girl, what? So now the astrologer turns to Kenya, and she says, I have wonderful news for you. You're supposed to be a shaman. So Kenya's looking at her like, lady, try again. So the astrologer continues by saying that the reason why Kenya's mom treats her so poorly is because she's still stuck in a past life, and how Kenya's mother had a baby out of wedlock with the king, and how Kenya was a boy in her past life. So Kenya's looking at this astrologer like, girl, this sounds like a Lifetime movie. Child, nobody was here for the astrologer's readings. I think that everybody was hoping to hear that they had love and more fame and fortune in their future. Nobody was trying to hear how they were royalty thousands of years ago. So the astrologer is pretty much saying that everybody was royalty in their past lives, and how Melissa was a princess back in the day, and how Teresa was an erotic dancer in her past life. So they're all like, oh, okay. So now the astrologer leaves. The conversation changes gears, and Luann goes on to ask Kenya, what title did she win back in the day? Kenya goes on to say that she won Miss USA in the 90s. And then Luann's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool because I won Miss European when I was living in Italy back in the day. Kenya's talking about her experience and how she was nervous and this, that, and the third. And then Cynthia tries to jump in to talk about how she was a judge for the Miss Universe pageant and how it was just so nerve-wracking. So while Cynthia's trying to talk about her experience as a judge, Kenya keeps cutting her off. Now, let me just say, this part was kind of weird, and I did get the impression that Kenya was mad at Cynthia and was low-key trying to punish her by being passive-aggressive and not letting her speak, because she kept cutting Cynthia off every time Cynthia tried to tell a story about how she was a judge for the Miss Universe pageant. And so Cynthia's getting upset and she's like, I'm getting really offended because Kenya keeps cutting me off. And everybody else can feel and sense the tension between them. I was like, child, they need to just hash it out because Kenya, you know I'm riding for you, but you didn't have to cut Cynthia off like that. That was disrespectful. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That was just mean. Like, girl, you can be mad at her, but let the lady finish her sentence. I'm just saying. So now the dinner is over and they all get back to their villa. And we see all the ladies are kind of tired, but Ramona and Kyle still want to party and have some margaritas. So the episode ends with Ramona and Kyle FaceTiming Mauricio on how to make some margaritas. Guys, this was another fantastic episode. I swear, this series continues to get better and better and better, and I am here for every single second of it, okay? But y'all, thank you all for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.